Thank you. I see your hand there. Hey, can we make sure my friend over there gets some information? The information that you give us will allow us to text you or email you or send something to you, let you know that we appreciate you and that upcoming events and activities that take place here at International Christian Center, that you would get that information also. So thank you for coming out, being with us. We enjoy that. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something for me because transform people do what? Good. Before we go live on Facebook Live, what I want you to do is that row and people back there and people over here. I need you to fill up this row right here for me, this row right here, and this row right here. All right, we're family, so let's just fill up these two right here. All right, front row right here. I won't pick on you, just front row right here. All right, don't be afraid. I'm not going to pick on you at all. But what we need to do is that as our cameras scan, what they need to do is scan people. All right, so if those are not, they can't scan back in the back. All right, so we need to. If the FBI are looking for you, then don't worry about it. You'll go to jail, and that's fine, because they'll see you on TV, and that'll be fine. All right, good. Don't be afraid to fill up the front rows. All right, great. That looks good. That awesome. That looks great. Great. Cool. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's awesome. Good. Now, what I want you to do before we get started, before I pray, what I want you to do is that I want you to look over to someone, your neighbor or someone, and make this statement to them. All right, here's the statement I want you to make to them. I need you. Next one, you need me. And we both need truth. Because we want to be free. All right, good. That's why we need to spend some time close with each other. All right, Father, I thank you for our time today, and you said that wherever I stand on this planet, you give me the open heaven. So once more, I'm at 6600 Bush Boulevard in Columbus, Ohio, and I pray that you would always continue to speak through me, speak to me, that I may be an instrument of your plan, your purpose on this planet. So give me clarity of speech, give me the ability to say what you want to say in the most unique way, so that people would be able to leave out of here and they'll be able to say that they didn't come to just an emotional service, but they came to a service that created and put them in a place where transformation was a reality. Because transformed people do what? Good. Over the last couple of weeks, we started a series of teaching. The series of teaching was basically, as Brittany said earlier, is that we want you to be fully functional followers of Christ. So there's 4 ways you become a fully functional follower of Christ in the church. One way is that you discover a place to connect. Another way is that's our first quarter. So quarter number 1, we're asking you to discover ways to connect. So we talked about connecting to your church, connecting to God, connecting to your purpose, connecting to the real you. And then we look at this part in quarter number 2. We'll look at discover places to grow, because all of us need to grow. If you're not growing, then you're dying. Things that's living is always growing. And so we look at for 3 months, what do God expect from us when it comes to, and then we'll look at quarter number 3. We'll look at discover places to share, that God wants you to share truth and share hope to other people. The more you share your faith, the more you grow in your faith. All right? And so we connect, we share, and then the last part, quarter number 4, we look at discover a place to serve. And so when you're serving, you're becoming great. Great people serve. And so we teach you how to serve, the purpose that God's given you, serving the things God called you to serve in. Today, we're going to finish up our series. How many of you learned something from Dr. J last week? Do you think that was pretty cool? Good. Hey, I want to welcome all you who are watching us throughout the United States, throughout the world. Thank you for coming out, being with us at International Christian Center, 25 different places around the globe that we're touching, and our goal is to be able to touch 50 by the end of the year. So welcome. Please go on our website, check out our events, email us, tell us what you're seeing, what you're hearing, tell us your experience that you have here at International Christian Center. So all those in International Christian Center, can we put our hands together for all those who are watching somewhere else throughout the United States and the world? All right. And so here we are wrapping up this series on ways to connect. I had an awesome time with C60. What do you think, Marvin? Awesome time with C60 today? Great, awesome time. Elder Joe came in and said, okay, He's fired up again. What's going to happen next? All right, well, we talked about discovering ways to connect to your church, discovering ways to connect to your purpose, connect to the real you. So we looked at the real you, what's your emotional you. So we talked about how to handle your feelings, how to handle your emotions. All that's part of who you are. We looked at your thought process, the things that happen inside your mind, the way you think. And then we looked at your body. And Dr. J talked to us about this body that God's given us, this amazing body that can do some amazing things. So we talked about the body. And today we're going to talk about something that most people hate talking about in church called money. And so my financial advisor couldn't make it this week. So what he's going to do is come in on a Wednesday night, and he's going to give you a complete Wednesday night instead of splitting you up and giving you 30 minutes like Dr. J gave you 30, I gave you 30. He's going to come in on a Wednesday night and give you a full hour of nothing more than financial understanding about where you should put your money, how you should use your money, and all those other things. I have 3 financial people who speak into my life. I'm also a part of, I'm on the board of directors of a financial organization that takes care of securities and the other financial vehicles. And so I had to get fingerprinted last week, Friday, a 4-hour fingerprint so that we can open up an office in Florida. I've been with this corporation for over 15 years, and so we opened up a corporation because a lot of people are moving from Columbus to Florida, so we have to have a Florida office down there. But boy, I tell you what, the fingerprinting today is so unbelievable, it's so crazy, because now you get fingerprint, your fingerprint now goes around the world, and it's set, so wherever you go in the world, I go in Germany, they have my fingerprints there to know that it's me when I get there. And so what an experience that was of a long time of fingerprints. So today we're going to close this series out with learning more about the financial connection. There is a healthy financial future waiting for you. Can you tell your neighbor there is a healthy financial future waiting for? Yeah, I believe there's a healthy financial future waiting for you. And you, wherever you may be around the city, the state, the country, the world, there is a real healthy financial future waiting for you. Now, let me put a pin in this and say, hey, one of the ways that I financially support my future and our future as a family is that I have 3 brands. So 3 brands mean 3 businesses. And one of the businesses I want you to support, ladies, is this. I have a business called Opportunity Women Moves Forward, where I write books and do training for women so you can reach your full purpose and opportunity. So we have these things called Lunch and Learn. And so women come from different parts of the city, different parts, and they come in professionals, non-professionals. They just want to max out their opportunity. All right, Sabrina, we had an unbelievable one this past Saturday. Did you learn something from it? Good. And so what I want you to do is this. I want you to mark your, you were there. Yeah, good to see your face. And we talked about you, Micah, in that session. Yeah, but don't worry, it was good. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. And so what I want you to do is mark your calendars for April 27th. We have our Lunch and Learn, and we looked at yesterday, women, where there is no vision, you don't see a clear future. If your future is not coming to you, it's because your view of it may not be in line with God's plan for you. And so I gave you steps on how to clear up your vision so that you don't have smirky vision and don't get to where God wants you to do. Let me tell you, ladies, this 10-year period that you're in is a year opportunity. So you need to take advantage of opportunities. But if you don't understand that you are in the Esther season of life, then you're going to miss your appointment with the king. And men, if you have women in your life, you need to become Mordecai. Mordecai got on his knees, prayed Esther into the palace. You just start praying your daughters and your nieces and your wives into the palace because they got skill sets and abilities and they have all this stuff that's tailor-made for the day. Ladies, if you don't get to a session with me and you don't learn about your opportunity, what you're going to get is caught up in the world system that's going to tell you that you're better than the man that's in your life. You're not better, you just have a season to do what you're called to do, never better. So I want to make sure you don't become arrogant, cocky, and conceited and miss your opportunity. And ladies out there, wherever you may be, come out April 27th and be with us. Outstanding time where women bring your lunch. One lady in our church bought some Popeye chicken, and boy, I wanted some of that chicken. but I couldn't get it because I was teaching out, And somebody bought Subway, and oh man, next time I have my wife just make me a sandwich. That's all I want. Right? First Thessalonians 5:23. Our key text was found in 1 Thessalonians 5:23. Now may the God of peace. Paul taught the Thessalonica church. He said, "Now may the God of peace Himself." In one translation, sanctify you wholly or completely, and may your whole spirit, soul, and body be preserved or kept completely until the Lord Jesus Christ return. Now, all of us know that the Lord is going to do what? Return. Good. So when He returns, and many people saying, "Lord, hurry up and return." I tell you, y'all need to stop praying that. You know why? Because y'all ain't ready to see Him. Because you know what He's going to say? What did you do with what I gave you? What did you do with that body? Was it a rental body? Is it broke down when you returned it to me? You know, we found out that your body, once you get born again, your body should be better because you're born again than when you had it when you weren't born again. Ask Elder Joe. He knows some stuff he did with his body before he got born again, was renting that body and tearing that body up. All of us. And so when it comes to your emotions, your intellect, your will, all the things that God, you want to hear Him say one thing: well done. Yes, all right? And there's some things that was not well done. Like one of the things that's not well done is how we handle our finances. So if Jesus came back today and said, "Let me check your financials," would He say, "well done," or would He say, "Oh, did I give you that? I don't see nothing you did with my stuff"? And so we need some time, and let's think about it this way also. What if the world who's trying to find Jesus can't find Jesus because they look at how we treat our body? And they say, if that's the kind of body you get for being a Christian, I know I don't want your Jesus. Or what if it's because the way we think? What if they can read our thoughts and say, "Man, y'all some negative folks, man. I know I don't want to be y'all Jesus." Or what if they look at our financial situation, how we have handled finances? What if they say, the way you guys handle finances proves to me that the God you serve is not the God I want? And so if our life is modeling Christ, then we need to go back and find, have we modeled Christ well enough in the financial arena to be able to model it for people who are looking for hope? But if we don't understand it, how will we know what we're doing and what we're not doing? So we're going to take a journey down there, and I hope that you stay on the journey with me and take the financial journey with me. I think it'll be excellent for you to take the journey. So let's take a look at it. Benjamin Franklin said this way: an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Well, some of you say, "Well, Pastor, that's not scriptural." Well, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. So we'll take a couple knowledge tips, and then I'll justify Benjamin Franklin's statement. First, most people go to the Bible for comfort and encouragement and not for financial instruction. Well, nobody say, "Well, shoot, before I spend my money, I'm going to read what the Bible say about it." We don't do that. We go for it for comfort. We go for it for encouragement, but we don't go for financial answers. All right, the next thing I want you to see in this knowledge tip is the Bible is spiritual, which we know, and money is secular. Number 2, 3, Jesus says more about money than about heaven and hell. Now, we talk heaven and hell, but Jesus talked money. And that's weird to us because in our culture, the church culture, we're going to say Jesus most likely talked heaven and hell more than money. We can preach heaven and hell very well, but we can't preach what God told us to preach about money. Now, let me take a pause here. I was with a friend of mine, so I told a friend that we have a project back in the back, our children's ministry project, where we're finishing up. We're going to have one of the most amazing areas that you can never find, because we've made an investment in the kids area that will be finished really soon, but we need some help, man. April the 7th, which is this Saturday. 6, we need this Saturday at 9 a.m. We're going to be in the back finishing up, laying the carpet, and finishing up that room. We need your help. So, men, mark down for an hour and a half, whatever it takes. Just come out and be with us. More hands, get us quickly, and we can turn this place into an unbelievable place. 9 o'clock, and hang out, for a couple of hours, and let's make a difference in the kid's life by giving them a place they need. Now, a friend of mine, so I told him about the project, and he wrote a check for $500. And so I asked him, I said, why did you write? I went out to lunch one, I said, why did you write us a $500 check? He said, because I had it to do it. And I said, okay, tell me more. And I asked him, hey, tell me more about why you gave. I asked you for something for our kids here. You gave me, because you said I had to do it. He said, no, God told me to use his money for his purpose. And that's his purpose. So you can have my money. All right? So I have his money. So before I put that in the offering, I wanted to show you that when you have God resources, God will always ask you for it. But when it's your resources, when he asks you for it, you can't give it. All right? Ushers, can you come take this? This is yeah, thank you. All right? All right, so let's take a look at that. Jesus says more about money than heaven and hell. Next, the Bible has twice as many verses on money, approximately 2,350 verses, than on faith and prayer combined. Now, when we talk faith and prayer, and we don't want to talk money, because when we start talking money, we think God wants something. All right, so we don't want to talk money for sure. But then we say, we talk faith, we talk prayer, but God says, I talk money 2 times more than faith and prayer. Now, is faith and prayer important? Sure it is. But if God is talking about money that many times, that means that we should be talking about something he's talking about. Or are we afraid to talk about it because we're condemned what we've done with it, so we can't talk about something that we misused? So why then, Pastor, why did God use his word? Why did he use the Bible to talk so much about money in possession? Why? What's God's plan of attack? Why did he do that? Well, I'm glad you asked me why he did it, because I want to explain why he did it. And before I explain, I want you to understand another thing that we all need is knowledge and understanding about the purpose of money. What's the purpose of money? If we don't understand the purpose of money, then what's going to happen is that we're going to think that money is something that is not. All right? And in a short term, the reason why God gives you money is because he wants to fulfill mission that he placed in you. And he knows your mission in you needs money to achieve it. So you get certain amount of money based on mission. So how much money is on his mission in you, or how much money is on your pleasure you want to have? See, God's not backing your pleasure-driven life. He's backing your purpose-driven life. So you want more money for your pleasure-driven life, and God said, no, I'll give you money for your purpose-driven life, but you're going to want pleasure. Now, does God give you pleasure and purpose? Sure. But if you want more pleasure than you want purpose, then you're going to have to work harder. And God, you're working harder for something that God said you can have pleasure in purpose if you let purpose lead you and not pleasure. So that statement that we made, that quote that we read by Benjamin Franklin, here is the statement that God used a prophet named Hosea centuries ago, and it's the same statement today. He said, whose people? Now who's? Now he's talking about them, but he also talking about us. He says what? My people are what? For what? Now in our Christian thought process, we said God's people are destroyed because of sin. No. The wages of sin is death. We know that. But you don't wake up and say, I'm going to sin today. But you do wake up and say, I'm going to spend the day. Yeah, you do. We do. We all do. We wake up, we say, man, I'm going to go buy those shoes. I'm going to go buy that dress. I'm going to go to the restaurant. After church, I'm going to O'Charlie's. After church, I'm going to Hudson 27, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to spend some money. But you planned that. You don't wake up and say, I'm going to sin. So you're not destroyed for sin. You're destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And we as believers are destroyed for the lack of knowledge about money. And if Jesus talked that much about money, shouldn't we have a knowledge about it? Shouldn't we know why he was so adamant about something that now, again, I'm not the extreme case leader or the preacher who wants to control and manipulate you to give. I'm not here to control and manipulate your giving, because if you ask anyone, since I've been a pastor, I don't know what no one in this church give. I don't care what you give. I do care that you give. I get a report, a financial report. We had an unbelievable financial team that look over the money of this church. And we meet once a month, and we look over, and I get a report to see where money goes, because in that profit report, that profit loss report, that P&L statement, we can see where money goes to. And we got some people like Joe Trad, who looks at every penny. If you miss a penny, he want to find the penny. He want to stay in the meeting until we find the penny. So you might as well just give him a penny so we can move on. But that's cool. You need to have some people looking for pennies. All right? Somebody should look for pennies in your house. Monshri, didn't I ask you to double a penny? All right? I said, I want you for 31 days, I want you to double a penny. Come back and see me in a month. What I was teaching her as a spiritual daughter is that I want you to understand the value of a penny. If you don't understand the value of a penny, you never will understand the value of $1,000, and you definitely don't understand the value of $5,000, and you don't understand $50,000, and you told me you want a six-figure job, but you don't understand a penny, so how do you get a six-figure job? So she doubled a penny over the course of 31 days. She can have some money to invest in her future. But she values the penny so she can understand the amount that God wants her to give. God was using the penny to get you to understand the money he wanted to give you. But the money he wanted to give you, you would never understand it if you misuse the penny. And how many of us misuse some pennies? All right, don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. Here we go. Okay, let's talk about the knowledge of money. All right, here we go. Let's drop some knowledge. All right, let's drop the mic. Let's drop some knowledge. Okay, yeah. Troy, is that all right, Troy? Okay, thank you. Just drop it. I got it. Okay, money is more than colored paper and metal discs. It is a tool. Tell your neighbor, money is a tool. Yeah, it's a tool that simplifies trade. See, money is one person's promise of goods and services granted in return for actual goods and services. Money, we're talking about money now. I want to give you a quick knowledge on money, because we need to understand money. Why do we need to understand money? Because money is part of why God created us to understand value of money. And I'm going to prove to you that you and I don't have enough knowledge to get more of it. Because if I gave you more without knowledge, you're going to misuse it. We want promotions without knowledge. I promote you, you spend more. I promote you, you get more in debt. So how do you tell the world how to get out of debt when every time I promote you, you get back in debt? And this is just a lack of knowledge. It's not because you're just that you want to spend a lot. It's just a lack of knowledge. All right? So are we going to be on the same page today? Can I touch you for a minute? You are so anointed. Thank you. I love you. She said, I'm sitting up front because, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's good. All right. Now, money, here's a statement. Next, money does not have any inherent value, only ascribed value. And money, say it with me, money is what? No, say it louder because you ain't got this. Money is not. Because in your mind, the more money you got, the more prosperous you think you are. That's an invalid statement. You are not prosperous because you have money. You have money that's a part of prosperity. If you are sick and have money, you're not prospering. If you are going through a divorce and you're married and you have money, you're not prospering. If your kids are sick and you got money, you're not prospering. Prosperity is not the sum total of what you have in your bank account. Jesus said, I come to give you life and give it to you more abundantly. Prosperity is the abundant life that Christ died so you can have, and money is a part of the abundant life, but it's not the life. You may be working yourself to death and not working yourself to life. So, money is inherent, all right? Inherent. But it has ascribed value, so someone puts an ascribed value to money. So they said that this right here is paper, and they put 50 on it. So they ascribed $50. All right, that's what it is. Someone told us that. And so it's not something that's inherently, it's not an inherent value, it's an ascribed value. And it's different in different cities, different countries, different nations, and you see the different values when you go to different nations. Now, what I want you to understand, money is morally neutral. Okay, morally neutral. All right, morally. Now, my sister asked in C60, and church is 60 minutes, where you get 60 minutes of food and conversation, and good food, and they ask a lot of questions. So my sister asked, well, if you're a bad person when you have it in your hand, if you're a Christian and you have bad morals, does the money become morally sound or morally, it doesn't become morally bad because of you being a morally unsound Christian? Your money is as good as your conduct and behavior. So your money is nothing more than who you are. So if you are a Christian and you are a lustful Christian, then your money gonna be used for lust. Because she made her statement was that Christians buy porno with their money. I said, some do. If they're full of lust, they go buy what they need to buy. Yeah. But also, if you're a Christian and you have the pride of life, then you're gonna buy pride. So you're going to spend to fulfill the pride in you. So you're going to buy a car you don't need so somebody can know you have money. Because your money is nothing more. It's neutral. Once it touches you, it becomes who you are. So if you're prideful, then it's going to be used to fix your pride. So you're going to buy a house you can't afford. So somebody can say you got a house that you can't afford. Because once this neutral money touches your hands, it's nothing but who you are. And you're spending who you are. So who are you when you got money in your hands? Are you lustful? Are you lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, and pride of life? Are you godly? Are you givers? Can God put some money in your hand and ask some money back from you? Well, it depends on who you are. If you're not godly, you don't give back to God. Why would a godly person not give to God if you're godly? Because you got God on you just put an L-Y, godly, you're God-centered. So if you're really godly, wouldn't your neutral money be God-given and God-centered? And then you do what God asks you to do. Is that all right? Yeah. I like neutral money. We had a person a couple years ago came in, and they said to us over in 990, and they said, hey, Pastor, would you take some drug money? And there's a drug dealer who asked the question, and I said, I can't take it because you told me that you will give me money. So I can't. Now, if you drop the money in the basket and I don't know where it came from, it's neutral. And I'm definitely going to use it to build the kingdom. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to give it to phase number 3, build the youth ministry upstairs. All right? Now, once I know you are a drug dealer or it's given to me in an illegal way, then at that point, I'll never take it because I am endorsing you giving me something that I can't take. All right? He said he made a bet. The bet was, I think, one of our cars had broke down, and I didn't have a car, so him and about 4 other of his friends who happened to be drug dealers, he said, hey, Pastor, we made a bet. We betting on you, man. I betted that you would take, they said, I got a Mercedes I'm going to give to you for a couple of weeks. Matter of fact, you have it. We're going to bring it to you. And 4 drug dealers and him, he said they betted $1,000. So he betted $1,000 on me. They betted that I'm going to take it. He betted he's not going to take it. He won $4,000 on me because I didn't take the car. I couldn't take the car because I knew where it came from. I couldn't. Look at y'all face, because some of y'all took that car. Oh, man. You should see y'all face. Wow, man. Yeah, my wife can tell you, but the opposite thing happened too. You know, and I can say his name, Mr. Ripley from Crown Mercedes, gave us a free car. And I can take that because he was the owner of Mercedes dealers, and he was a member of a previous member of our church, and we didn't have a car. And he said, I want to give you a car. I want you to have a Mercedes. So he gave me a coupe. He gave me the C230 or something. And it was his car. It was brand new, and I took it. Why did I take it? Because it's neutral. And once it got my hand, it became mine. And I would never have to worry about the police pulling me over. I can see now, we driving out, me and Pat just driving, I'm cooling out, and my new Mercedes said, we all clean, we go, and I got Joe and Michelle in the back with us, we going out to dinner. Pastor pulled over, elder pulled over, they got a drug dealing car, what you selling to here? Lift up the trunk, I forgot to lift it up. Pulled the spare tire, what? Elder Joe put that there, Elder Joe did that. Lock him up, we out, Pat, we out. This is his car.
We couldn't fit in the back seat of that car either. Back seat had 2 seats.
Let's move on. We just tell your neighbor, we're dropping some knowledge about money. Drop some knowledge, yeah. Yeah. See, money is nothing more than a pledge of asset, a mean of payment, and a medium of exchange. That's all money is. Yeah. So some of you have to take your cash and you have to pay for electric bill, gas. Some of you rent, some of you lease, some of you own homes. All right? I thank God that we have no car payment. Whew, man. like hallelujah, bless you, Jesus. I mean, because I hate giving that money to somebody who don't even think about me. You know, I said, man, giving me my God-earned money to that steal, that's going to devalue once I take it off the lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, let me move on. So money is money nothing more than a means of payment, all right? A means of payment, a medium of exchange. The good and the evil resides in people, not in money. All right? So you're mixing it up. When you see money, you shouldn't see good and evil. You should just see that once it's in somebody's hands, it's good or evil. So if I put it in an evil person's hand, I know it's going to do evil stuff. I put it in your hand, Troy, it's going to do. You probably going to go out and make another CD project or buy something for your kids or something like that, you know. And congratulations on a new boy coming soon. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Now, so let's take the next few minutes and build a real good, healthy, biblical foundation in order for us to fully financially connect to our healthy future. Now, if you don't see a healthy future, then in the present you would misuse what you have. It's what you see that determines what you do. All right? All right? So if you don't see yourself in a healthy future where you got some money to go on vacations and you got some money to give to God and his program, and you got some money to give to your kids, and you got some stuff to help other people, if you don't see that in the future, then what you're going to do in the present is determined by what you don't see. Okay? So if you don't see it, then in the present, you're going to misuse it. Because your present is nothing more than what you see tomorrow as. All right? So if you don't see tomorrow as a healthy future, financial future, all you're going to do is spend, spend, spend. And when you get to the future, because you're going to get there, and when you get there, there's nothing left there. Because what you have there is nothing more than what you did here. That's in anything in life. We're talking about finances now, but spiritually, that's there too. You want to get to heaven, but you don't want to live right today. So if you die today, all you God's going to do is look at today. So if you didn't live today, right, but you want to go there tomorrow, right, well, the day determines. So if you don't never look into heaven, you're not going to live right on earth because you don't look in the future far enough to live right today. Because no one expects to die. Hey, Dwayne, we're praying for you. We know your mom passed away, man. We got you back. We're praying, Lorraine, your grandma, we're praying that you guys, during this season in your life, that God will give you peace and encourage you and multiply grace to you as you go through this season. All right? All right. Now, turn to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, 28, 31. Hey, welcome again to International Christian Center, no matter where you are. If you want to go online and tell us what you're doing, what you're listening, what you're learning, hey, go online and tell us what you're doing and tell us what you're learning. And welcome again to the International Christian Center at the Dream Factory. Genesis chapter 1, verse number 26. Here's God saying to his creation, he says, then God said, let us, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, make man in whose image? In his image. According to what? Our likeness. Let them have, now here's the key here, let them have over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over the earth, over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created male and female. He created male and female. He created. And we want to make sure we're clear. He created. And he didn't create female and female. And he didn't create male and male. Love people, hate perversion. Okay? God loves people. He hates perversion. We do not hate people, but we don't buy into perversion. All right? So, he says he created them, male and female, he created them. All right? And then God blessed them. Then God did what? God blessed them. And God is still blessing you. So what are you doing with this blessing, though? And if you're not blessed, I'm going to prove to you why you're not blessed. I'm going to prove to you why y'all don't got no money. Now, I'm not talking money. I'm talking Nedd. I'm talking about the kind of money that allows you to go back in the back and pay for the whole kids' church and don't even blink. Money to go upstairs and say, hey, the youth ministry is going upstairs, our third project. We're going upstairs. We're going to build an unbelievable youth facility upstairs, and we're going to go outside and build a whole basketball arena out there for kids to play outside. And you just say, Pastor, here's a check, do it. That's the kind of money I'm talking about. Yeah. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, now God says to them, be what? Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth, and do what? Subdue it. Now here's the word, have what? Over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the living things that move on the earth. Then God saw that everything he made was indeed very what? Very good. So evening and day and morning was done on the sixth day. Conclusion then, after all of that, God implemented a system for productive, purposeful, and prosperous living only found in obedience to him. You're asking God to give you productive living, purposeful living, and prosperous living without obeying you. He asks you for something, you say, I can't give it. He said, well, why? He said, well, I gave you breath to work, and I put strength in your body to work, and I opened the door for you to get a job. And so now you got those things because a man who don't work or a woman don't work don't. Cool. So you got that. So why is it every time I ask you to give me something back, you're complaining, saying you don't have it? Is it because your poor stewardship is causing you to disobey and say that you don't have enough to give? Now, I want you got a summary, John. You got $2 too. Yeah. So you got 3 kids. I know all of them. Now, when you tell Trey, now Trey is a man now, but when Trey was a little younger in the house. Yeah. When you told Trey, when you said, Trey, make the bed up, or Trey, you said, Trey, Trey, I want you to clean the house up. We're going to clean it up. And so you expected him to clean up, right? And if he did what you expected him to do, he got a reward. He got, little. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And so, and so if Trey did something that wasn't normally what his responsibility was, and he did it, then you rewarded him for doing something that, because all you want him to do as a parent to do what? You want him to obey you. So with his obedience, you reward obedience. Why is it that we want our kids to obey what we tell them, but we don't want to obey what God tells us? The way you have one of my spiritual daughters, since she's been in youth ministry with y'all, I always wondered. She's like a spiritual daughter, but her and my son always like each other. So what's going on? Okay, move on. Okay. All right, okay. Back to my message. Back to the message. All right, back to the message. All right, here. All right, anyway, back to the message. All right. Anyway. All right. Back to the. Come back here. And you, son, I know you're watching me. Okay, back to the message. Now you know your dad, right? Now, when he asks you to do something, he expects you to, and he will reward you for doing what he asks you to do. If you don't do what he asks you to do, you know he ain't giving you nothing, right? Zero. Yeah, not even food. Especially the way. All right. Now back to God the Father, who created us. Why do we keep asking God to give us what we need and what we want, and we keep telling him, I'm not going to obey you though? What parent in their right mind keep giving their kids anything? So why would you expect God to keep blessing you when you're not even obeying him? Let's just think through that for a few minutes, because we all got kids. Some of us here, and some of us know, and you were kids. And y'all got beat a whole lot for disobedience. Now, let's think this through, because if he said that, God has this system, and God wants you to understand obedience is what gets you the things I want you to have. Obedience. Now, The word obedience is a Hebrew concept, and the Greek concept said it's a word hupokeo. Hupokeo says that you attentively hear something and you do what you hear. All right? So he says, you know, okay. Back. He says, right? Come on, Eve. Come on, Eve. Come on, Eve. Kiss your wife. All right. So what's that? What is that called? That's called obedience. All right. Now, why aren't you doing what I told you? Because you didn't hear me. We assume we hear God, but most of the time we never do. Because to hear God is to do what you heard. So are you really hearing what you said when you just heard? Because you're not doing it. So did you really hear it? And if obedience is hearing before you do, so you keep telling me you're hearing, but you don't do, so do you really hear? So we're saying we're hearing God, and everybody say, I hear God, I hear God. But you can't be hearing because you ain't doing what you heard. So do we really hear God? And if faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God, that means that we should be listening to God in his word until we do what we read and heard through the word. That's why we need to stop reading the Bible so quickly and say that we hear you. Because he's saying you have heard me because you're not doing what you read. You're talking about what you hear and read, but your life proves that you're not listening. Because the word obedience, hupokeo, is that I heard you. And one time I was testing this out with Tyus, and she said, Dad, what'd you say? Dad, I didn't hear you. Make your bed up. Well, I was proving that sometimes we're expecting people to do things without them hearing what we said. And God will keep repeating to you what he wants you to do until you do it because he knows you didn't hear it. So he keeps telling you, give, and this shall be given unto you. He tell you, bring all the tithes into the storehouse. He keeps telling you over and over and over. You keep making excuses. Say, I don't want your money. I just want your obedience. You're thinking I want money. No, the church needs money. I need your obedience. Let's move on because you should see your face. I wish I could see your face up there. Hey, send me a snapshot of your face. Yeah. He also put into practice a system of stewardship, being the owner of nothing. Now tell your neighbor, you are the owner of nothing, but the steward of all of the God works and the faithfulness and faithful to complete the task God gives you. So God say, hey, Tyus, I'm going to give you power to get wealth to establish my covenant. So I'm going to give you ability to work. So here, work for me. So you go out to work. I was an engineer close to 18, 20 years of my life. So I worked. And for all of you young pastors out there, I think you should go work in corporate America before you work for God. Because until you learn work ethics, you'll come in here and use God and use people and people's money to pay for your salary. So until you can work for somebody else, you can't work for God, because God should work you harder than corporate America ever worked you. Don't work for me, because I'm going to work you. Amen. I think every future leader should work somewhere to learn work ethics, so that you don't come in. When someone told me, Pastor, let's go golf, and I said, man, I'll work. You want me to golf on a Saturday? Cool. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I work. And you need to learn that work gives you money. Let me move on. Because stewardship is what God is after. God gives you something, gives you time, talent, and trade, and say, can I have something back? You're saying, God, give me a 6-figure job. And God said, I gave you $50, you won't give me $5 back. There's no way you make $120,000, you gonna give me $12,000 back. You ain't giving me $12,000. You're gonna think about what $12,000 can do for you. So how would you expect God to turn 50 to $50,000 jobs when you can't handle 50? Let's put a pin on this because I'm going to close this out in a few minutes. Here's a pin. Condemnation is from the devil. Conviction is from God. If you're being convicted, let it work. If you're condemned, kill it. It's the devil condemning you. Conviction tells us that we may have been poor stewards over things that God told us to be stewards over, and we may have missed it. We may not have had enough knowledge. Or we didn't hear God enough to obey what we heard. And now we're hearing him again, and we're willing to obey. Genesis chapter 3, let's look at the fall of man and consequences. Here we go. The opposite word of obedience is what? So disobedience and poor stewardship and faithlessness caused man to sin. Consequently, it created a new system that was put in place. So the whole monetary system was put in place because of sin. And sin was because of disobedience. Adam, did you hear what I said? If you'd have heard what I said, you wouldn't have listened to what she said. Eve, did you hear what Adam said? If you would have heard what Adam said, you wouldn't listen to the serpent. Serpent, what in the world are you talking to my kids for? Because they're listening. So the world says, I can talk to your kids about money because they listen to me more than they listen to you. They're not going to you in the Word where the Word talks about money more than anything. They're going to everything else but the Word about money. So they listen to the world more than they listen to your kids. Don't listen to you, God. They listen to serpents. And serpents represent a world system. In Egypt, serpents represented a god, the system of the world. An occult system that wanted to control, manipulate you into spending things you don't own and what you don't have. The same system that we have today. So we're not listening to God's system because God's system will always tell us to look at stewardship over pleasure. Am I storing your resources or am I using them to benefit me? You still here with me? As soon as ancient people stopped living, again, this is just knowledge to get us on the same page. As soon as ancient people, this is after sin, living, they were wandering hunters, they began agricultural systems, a medium of exchange became necessary because men without God will always rip each other off. So God said, okay, they better come up with a exchange system because men who are without God, they always some way gonna look out for me. This is my money. This is me, this is us, this is my stuff. So God said, okay, they need an exchange system. A system of barter or trading properly preceded the creation as a formal currency, and they called it money. Now, they didn't have money in Genesis 1 and 2. But after Genesis 3, they needed some money because sin opened up a whole new door of greed, of selfishness, of self-centeredness, and it made them owners and not stewards. And sin will always make you own your life and not allow God have your life. In Old Testament time, land became an immediate asset. It was possessions that could be traded. However, produce, and especially livestock, was more convenient because it was movable. Animals were movable, so in Genesis chapter 13:2, we see it. Abram, one of God's servants, was very rich in livestock and in silver and gold. So he became rich off of animals, off of produce and animals in that particular time. Now remember, money is a poor but a great. Now, if you keep flipping it and make money your master, you're going to burn out in life. And as the elder said up front, you will be poor. Because it's a poor master. When you let money master you, it's going to make you do things that you shouldn't do. But when it's a servant, it should serve God's purpose in you. That's what money should do. It should be able to serve God's purpose in you and through you. So we should have money that be able to serve God's purpose. One of God's purpose for me is to go around the world and take the truth that God's placed in me to the nations. So in August, when I go back, start traveling again, and I go back to the continent of Africa, I need money to travel. So make money so it can be used for God's purpose in me, and then God's purpose outside of me. So some money should be left for the church purpose. Some money should be left for my children. Some money should be left for my future. But then a lot of money should be left for God's purpose in me. How much of your money is for God's purpose in you? If you're His steward, then God should have given you a purpose by now, which is to love Him with all your heart, your soul, your might, and love your neighbor as yourself. And the simple purpose is to love God first. And so, do you have enough money in you to do what God calls you to do? Troy, God's purpose is for you to use music to touch humanity. So God says, hey, I want you to work so you can, number one, provide for your family, but then to save for a future, and then to take some money and to give it to my plan, my mission in you, because it takes money to accomplish mission. But if we are not a steward over this, we have no money for our mission. And now we're begging for permission for mission. Because we don't have no money to fulfill mission. Are we the same page? Yeah, because I'm going to close in a few minutes because when we start talking about this makes us frown. You know why we frown? Because we've already blew it. All we had to do is repent. Lord, I didn't have the knowledge base. Lord, I didn't hear you. Lord, I've been in church a long time, and when pastors got up and started talking about money, man, they were tripping because they didn't teach me knowledge. I had no knowledge. They tried to trip me up into an emotional trip to get me to do something that I don't have knowledge of what I'm doing. Instead of having knowledge and then doing it based on knowledge, because I understand what I'm doing. All right? And so I want to close with this. Remember, tell your neighbor, remember, could somebody come please? Remember, money is a what? Money is a poor what? Come on, say it. But what? But, all right? So how many of you want some more money? I do. I mean, how many of you want to keep lying and say you don't want none? Yeah. All right. Yeah. I was with a young man yesterday, and he told me that in the meeting, he said, "Hey, I want to make $50,000." I said, "Cool. I want you to make $50,000, but can you handle 5?" He said, "Well, I'm gonna pay for your lunch." I said, "It's the best thing you can ever do." Best you can do. Yeah. Invest into someone else. Make a difference in someone else's life. It starts giving away from yourself. So he bought me a pizza. He didn't buy me a pizza. You know what he did? He started using money as an investment tool for his future. And the first investment he made was in a person. He didn't have to pay for my lunch. I could pay my own lunch. But when he kept saying, I got this, Pastor, I got this. Because I took my money out and he said, no, I got this. said, well, you got it then. Yeah. But he had no idea I was training him to use money with God intent in mind. How do I serve God with my money? Where do I invest? I'm not just giving you a lunch, Pastor. What I'm doing is that I'm learning how to use money with God's mind in place. Instead of just saying, no big deal. Robert Kiyosaki, in closing, Robert Kiyosaki wrote a great book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Great. Talks about a rich dad, a poor dad, the thinking, two different thinkings, a different process of thinking that two dads has. If you haven't read the book, read the book. Good book. Not a Christian book, but a good book. Okay? And his statement was, it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep. How hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. If you die today, what do you leave your kids? Debt? Frustration? The worst thing to do is to die today and leave your kid with your debt. So when you die, you know what you leave your kids with? Your life. And they see what kind of life you live by what you live. And the worst time in my life is when I have to do homegoing and we have to spend more time raising money than confronting families. Because we don't see the future well. You know what we don't see in the future? We're going to die. We don't see that. Because we all, well, I'm going to live. You're going to die. Either Jesus is going to come back and we're going to fly all this place together, or if he don't come back in the next, by the time you hit 120, then you're going to die. And your life will be seen by what you leave. And your kids will say, man, my parents left me a lot of debt. They didn't leave me nothing. What in the world were they doing? Man, they left me hurt. Because now I got to pay for this home going out of my pocket that should be used for something else. So I want you to think about this today. If God's given you the power to get wealth to establish his company, if God has given you ability to walk, to talk, to breathe, to write, to do business, and all he's asked you to do is to hear what he wants you to do with what he's given you. Can we just start hearing again? I mean, really hearing. You know what hearing is? Just obey. Can we just start obeying? Can we just start, hey God, I didn't really hear you. Or said, I need to look again. Because when I read that, I really didn't understand it. That's fine. Read it again. Read it with somebody else. Read it with another set of eyes until you get it. And then be a steward. Be a steward. I was going to bring a financial advisor in here. He was going to tell you about stocks, bonds, mutual funds. He's going to tell you about all kinds of financial vehicles that you can use. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't need financial vehicles yet. We do need them, but not today, not right now. We need to think about how we have used money in the past, and did we use it with Christ in mind? Or did we use it with me in mind? Right? And then when we take a little thought, and then if you say that I didn't properly use it, I'm over maxed out, I got more debt than I have life, I'm frustrated, I got to work 5 jobs, I can't live life, I got to do all this stuff, and I can't spend no time with my kids, I can't spend my wife, my husband, because I got to work because I made some major mistakes in my life, and work, and that's fine, that's fine. God will give you the strength to do that. because of what you did in the past. That's fine. But how honest can we be today? How honest? And say, God, you know what? I heard you say one thing and I did another thing. And forgive me for disobedience. And now I want to obey you. And I want to live a productive, prosperous, purposeful life. Having more than enough to meet my personal needs and meet the needs of others. I mean, what that kind of life I do. So what I want us to do, I want to do not an altar call. I mean, we'll do that, but for those who are out there or those who are in here and you don't have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, all the stuff I'm teaching you right now, it don't make sense when you don't have a relationship with Jesus, because everything centers around Jesus. If Jesus is not your Lord and Savior, you can't make that decision anyway. So if you're here today and you don't have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, you want to start that journey, can you slip your hands up anywhere in the auditorium and say that's me, Pastor. I need to start this journey. Anywhere in the auditorium, can you lift your hands up? If you used to walk with Jesus and this is a new start for you, you want a new start, a new day, and you want to begin a new place in Him, can you slip your hands up and say, that's me, Pastor. I want to start all over again. I need to start again. Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you that today is the day when you hear His voice, harden not your heart. Don't say, I've done that before. You've done that before, but you're not doing this now. What God has asked you for a now day, not a this. If you die this second, the one thing I don't want to do is not give you a chance to live today. So let's start today with a new life. If you're here today, number one, accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. You want a fresh new start. That person's here. Slip your hands up. If you're here, you walked away from God, you want to walk back. Let's slip your hand up. Let's get you back. And the last thing, if you're here today and you want a church that wants to help you become a fully functioning follower of Christ, that's what we want to do, simply. We want you to fully function. We don't want you to be broke down in life, not fully functioning. We want you to fully function. There should be more in life than what you experienced. There's so much more. We want to help you with that. If you want information on becoming a member of this local assembly or information on our local assembly, can you slip your hands up anywhere in the auditorium? Salvation, return to the Lord, or information about International Christian Center. I want to scan the auditorium. Yes, ma'am, I see your hand there. Thank you. All right. On my left-hand side is a beautiful lady over there who's lifted her hand up to connect with this local assembly. Can we put our hands together for my sister over here? In the next few minutes, we're going to